Thank you so much for checking out this free video. If you don't mind, please click like and subscribe.
Tommaso Ciampa. Goddamn.
This fucking match. Holy shit.
Darby does a dive off the post. It's like a high cross that sends them over the barrier through a table. And Ciampa comes up bleeding everywhere from like the front and back of his head. It looks like his blood's all over Darby's body. His blood's all over the camera lens. They're fighting on the turnbuckles, and of all the dumb things I thought they might do, it never occurred to me they'd be dumb enough to do a middle rope air raid crash to the floor.
No, I thought for sure there was a table there.
No.
And there wasn't.
You know what? It would have been better if there had been.
They went
even a ladder.
The middle rope and fucking crashed on the ground, and the back of Darby's head looked like it just smashed in the cement, and Ciampa broke his fucking ass.
Fucking
goddamn, dude.
Toxics.
I just get mad. I don't want to go over the whole speech again, but like, I hate when there's a match this great, and I have to spend most of the review talking about how stupid something was. Because God bless these guys, and I love them both, but that's dumb. Like, don't do an air raid crash off the middle turnbuckle to the fucking floor. You're gonna break your ass. You know, you're gonna break your head. I know nobody likes to think about stuff like this and that sort of thing, but like, you know, I have not watched it yet, but I've heard all about the Hulk Hogan documentary. And, you know, Hulk Hogan he was often full of shit, okay? And so, you know, when he claimed that he was taking more fentanyl than anyone this doctor had ever seen and lived, I mean, that may well be an exaggeration. But the fact of the matter is, this guy was fucked up. His body was absolutely fucked up. He was in constant crippling pain. And the fact is, he just did a bunch of fucking leg drops on a mat. He didn't do leg drops off the fucking top rope. He didn't do leg drops to the floor. And he was racked with pain. And I don't want to see Ciampa like that. I don't want to see Darby like that. And if you would have taken that fucking move out of this match would have been as good, or for me personally, better, because I wouldn't have been taken out of the match by having to watch two guys fucking nearly kill themselves. I mean, I just wish, like, this is the same thing that workers used to make fun of everybody in ECW for. Oh, you do this crazy shit because you don't know how to work. You hit each other with a chair in the head because you don't know how to work. You fall off something really high because you don't know how to work. Well, now we got all these guys that know how to work and they still do that shit. So just please stop, you know. Do your dive over the timekeeper thing into the table, whatever. You know, do stuff where there's some safety to it. But like this, there's no way to do this safely. And you're just fucking, you know, I don't want to say you're taking days or years or months off your life, but you're certainly taking days, years, and months of comfort off of your life by doing this.
So there was more. They kept fighting after that. A turnbuckle got exposed. They kept teasing bumps into it, including one where Darby got slingshotted towards the buckle, but jumped up and landed feet first on the middle rope and came back with a foot stomp. That was pretty cool. They're doing some near falls, and they had not even most, but they convinced some people in Portland, Oregon, that Tommaso Ciampa was about to win the world title. So good on them for that. And finally, Tommaso goes for a sharpshooter. Darby reverses it to one of his own. They have an incredible fight, and Ciampa fights and almost escapes, and Darby falls down in the fight so hard, but he stands right back up and clamps it right back in. Tommaso finally taps out a super-duper title defense. The bell rings. They collapse. Their legs are still tangled together. They just lie there. They're exhausted. A great war.
Incredible match.
And mutual respect is shown between the two, so Ciampa's a tweener, I suppose. Out comes Brody King. He congratulates Darby on the win and announces, I have spoken to Tony Khan. With your permission, he says. It'll be you and me for this title next week. Darby is looking way, way up at Brody, and he's covered in blood, even though it's mostly Ciampa's, and his body's broken. He's exhausted. He's the most Darby Allin you ever saw. And he looks up and shakes that hand. He looks so sad.
Yeah, he's probably thinking about that fucking air raid crash he just took off the middle rope to the floor, and then he's working again next week. It is impossible for these two men to have a bad match. That match next week is going to be probably as good or better than this one here. I mean, it is going to be astounding. But, man, jeez. I went to the kids' school today to volunteer, and, like, when I went into Hunley's kindergarten, like, they have 8 or 9 desks, and then they have another low desk, and the kids on that desk just sit on the floor. And then, like, throughout the year, they rotate through or whatever. But Hanalei is sitting at the desk that's low to the floor with no chair. And so, like, I had to get down on my knees and sit next to her on the fucking floor. And then I had to get up and, like, it's not like it was hard, but I mean, as I did it, it was very clear I was 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't do this crazy shit. Like, you know, he's got these young kids, and, you know, Darby, I'm sure, may want to have kids someday. And guys, it's shitty enough being in some form of pain when you're 50 and you didn't do this. Like, we don't got to make it worse. I mean, just don't make it worse. Be as safe as you can and still have your great match. It's just, I promise it will not be worth it someday. I promise. Are you one of those youngsters today who